the raven's cruel mate, Cassius Reign, Reign, a powerful sorcerer, a legend, a warrior, my father. He was everything that I have always wanted to be. His life was taken away because of the foolish and heartless actions of my mother. She was supposed to be his protector. She was supposed to love him. Instead, she is the reason that he is dead. He could have achieved a lot more had she not taken his life from him. She claimed that she did it to protect me from him, to protect my sisters. My sisters were traitors just like she was. They don't share the same views that I do. They don't understand the great power that our father left behind for all three of us. Still, I couldn't find it in myself to hate them like I hated our mother. I needed both my sisters if I wanted to continue my father's legacy. Somehow or the other, I had to get them on my side. If not, all of my plans would fail. I saw Autumn and Clarissa's power, and with the right amount of guidance, they could be the most powerful women to ever touch this earth. I just wished that they would at least listen to what I had to say. I was not sure what they'd heard about me or if they hate me. I've never gotten the chance to have a proper conversation with them. From everything I've read, there were only 3 people on this planet who could stop me from getting what I wanted. Their names were Willow, Winter, and Caroline. All 3 were sisters, and they were created on this earth to destroy me. Getting rid of them was my #1 priority. The only problem was that I had in my possession only one of them. Caroline Raven. She'd offered herself up to me in order to protect her sisters. She's been with me for weeks now, and I've had very little to say to her. I was waiting for a trade from her sisters, but nothing was offered yet. I knew they were searching for me, but I was good at hiding. In fact, no one has ever been able to find me unless I wanted them to. The fawns and the ravens were searching everywhere. I've been sending clues to throw them off each time. It was becoming boring, and I knew it was time to start messing with Caroline. She'd had a pretty uneventful time in my self-made castle so far. As long as she was with me, her sisters could not harm me. I needed the 3 of them to be separated all the time. Once one of them died, I would be free from the claws of death. However, I couldn't kill Caroline yet. As long as my sisters were close to the ravens, I couldn't take that risk. If I killed Caroline, they could kill one of my sisters, and then all of my efforts would be in vain. I've always trained myself to act at the right time. Even now, I knew that I was nowhere close to the right time. There was plenty still to be done before I could get rid of the ravens. They had an entire gang waiting to attack me, and I had to be prepared for everyone who would stand up against me. I still had more training to get done. It's why I've been away from the captured raven all this time. I didn't get a chance to play with her because of my busy training schedule. However, I had some free time now, and she was about to keep me company whether she liked it or not. As I stroll through the empty hallway, each step I take echoes against the unyielding floor, creating a rhythm as I move. I don't stop until I reach the room that I held her captive inside. I don't bother to knock as I push the door open. She doesn't even move to acknowledge my presence. Her hands are chained to the walls in a very uncomfortable position, and I know she hates me for it. "Good morning, Raven." I greet her. Her eyes are filled with daggers as she turns to look at me. Her platinum blonde hair hadn't been combed in weeks and looked like a mess. Her face also hadn't been washed. In fact, she hadn't had the pleasure of a bath either. "What is good about this morning, beast?" she hissed at me. "My presence, obviously," I answer her. "Does it not help to brighten your dull morning?" She narrows her eyes. "All of my other mornings were a lot brighter because I didn't have to see you." She snaps. I try not to smile. She was amusing, and I could already see that this was going to be lots of fun. "Caroline, why are you here?" I ask angrily. He remains silent, simply just staring at me with his wicked eyes. I've been trained all my life to kill this man, this monster. My mother has always expressed how important it was that he died before we all did. He was this close to me, so close for me to get rid of. However, I was not stupid. I couldn't battle him on my own. I needed the help of my sisters. Besides, I was chained, and whatever spell he had on them prevented me from breaking free. Not even my power could help me out of these things. "I will ask you again, why are you here?" I demand. He's rarely visited me in the past few weeks since he'd kidnapped me. I was beginning to think I was going to spend the rest of my life locked up in here without having the chance to kill him. Such hostile behavior for a prisoner. He says as if deep in thought. You are much stronger than the last sister I had locked in here. Willow wouldn't have lasted this long in my cell. I narrow my eyes. You underestimate my sister. She's a lot stronger than she looks. He chuckles, and it sends a shiver down my spine. Even his smile was evil. Mother was right about everything she's warned me about him. The only thing she was wrong about was the beast's looks. He was undoubtedly very attractive. His sharp silver eyes were mesmerizing and could trap me in their gaze if I weren't careful. It was unfair. Someone as evil as he was didn't deserve charming looks fit for a prince. It was quite deceiving, and I would rather not be distracted by something like that. You still are yet to tell me why you are here when you've ignored me for so long after capturing me and keeping me from my friends and family. I snap. I've made my intentions quite clear, just like you and your sisters have done in the past, he says calmly. You know that in order for me to get what I want, at least one of you must die. I narrow my eyes at him. Just try and kill me. My sisters will get rid of your sisters, and then you will be left alone. Without them, we know how powerless you are. He runs a hand through his hair. Yes, it would seem as though everyone knows my weakness, but I will not let that stop me from getting what I want. Just remember that my weakness is small compared to yours. You and your sisters have much more to lose than I do. There is no one that I care for in this universe, not a single soul. It makes me stronger than you ravens will ever be. I narrowed my eyes at him, and he confirmed how much of a monster he was. I couldn't believe a man like this existed. You may think I'm weak because I have people I love and care for, people I would give up my life for. However, you will one day learn that having people who support and love you, no matter what decisions you make, is what makes you stronger as a person. Since no one loves you, you will never have the pleasure of knowing how beautiful that feeling is. You can die today, and no one will shed a single tear. My words were meant to hurt him, but he didn't look bothered at all by them. He truly was heartless, wasn't he? It didn't even worry him that there was no one on this planet who loved him or cared if something happened to him. He steps towards me, and I feel my entire body turn to stone in response. I held my breath when he grabbed my chin and forced me into a standing position. I lift my head high as I glare into his striking silver eyes. I can barely breathe when he runs his fingers down my chest. Still, I don't say anything, even though I want to push him away. It's not like I could, not when heavy chains bound my hands. Your emotions are the reason that you are weak, he whispers as he leans closer to me. You dislike me, but my closeness still makes your heart race. I can feel his hot breath on my neck, and I hate that I like the feel of it, even though I absolutely despise him. My hatred for you pumps through my veins. I hiss. Of course, your nearness would make my heart race. He moves his hand to my back and pulls me against him. I'm not afraid of you, I growl, but I was afraid of the way my body responded to his touch. I shouldn't have a response at all. Maybe it was due to the fact that I was never able to be close to a man. It was a rule my mother made. She didn't want us to be distracted from our destiny, and that was to kill this man in front of me. I know you aren't, he says as he pulls my hair backward in a hard tug. But you should be, he says as his eyes darken to a blackness that wasn't humane. I have the power to make you wish you were never born. Raven. Cassius. The raven shivers under my touch. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It distracts me a bit too much. In fact, I think I like it. That's not right. I didn't like things, especially not something like this. I've fucked around, and never once did I like the way a woman shivered for my touch. What was it about her? Was it a weakness? She was made for me, to kill me. So maybe this was part of her power that made me weak when I touched her. I didn't like it. I didn't like having a weakness. It was something I would have to work on, and the only way I could overcome it was by touching her some more until I learned to control my emotions. I've always been good at being heartless and not showing any feelings. This woman was not about to change that. My plan was to scare her, but it didn't work. She was most definitely not scared unless she was good at hiding it from me. I moved back from her abruptly. I couldn't continue with this experiment until I had mentally prepared myself to touch her again. Her eyes are still glaring at me. She has never stopped since I walked into the room. Your family doesn't seem that desperate to find you, even though you claim that they love you so much. I point out to mess with her. She narrows her eyes. I am not stupid. I know that they can't find me unless you want them to. My eyes twinkled at her words. For some reason, I was happy that she knew this little detail about me. You've studied me for quite some time. I point out, is it possible that you've grown an obsession with me? She rolls her eyes. An obsession with you? She asks. The only thing I'm obsessed with is killing you. You say such romantic things, I say sarcastically. It's quite amusing that you and your family have believed all these years that you can kill me. I'm here, aren't I? She asks. That's enough to tell me that you see us as a threat. You are scared that we can ruin your plans. You say that you have no emotions or weakness. Yet, I can tell that you are scared of dying. You are terrified of us winning. My jaw clenched at her words, and I could see the relief in her eyes, as if she'd finally gotten a real reaction from me. It was true. Her family was my one weakness. I shouldn't have a weakness. There shouldn't be someone made just for killing me. Let's see how long it takes your family to find you, I tell her with a smirk. You may be here for the rest of your life, Raven. I hope you are prepared to be locked up here forever. She narrows her eyes. My family will find me. One way or another, they will. If you continue to hide me from them, I can assure you that they will use your sisters to get to me. I crack my knuckles in front of her. I'd just like to see them try. If they hurt even a finger on either of my sisters, I'll return the favor 100 times worse. She looks like she wants to scream at my threat, but refrains herself from showing me how much my words affected her. She is scared for her sisters, but not for herself. I could very easily tell what frightened her. I think I've had enough socializing for the day, I say as I head toward the door. Wait, she calls. I pause with my hand on the handle. Can I please have a bath? She asks. I can hear the edge in her voice. She hates having to ask me for something as simple as a bath. I turned around so that I could see her. I knew she needed one. Was I feeling generous today? For you to have a bath, I'll need to free you from those chains, I say. I don't think I can trust you to not try anything stupid once I remove them. She sighs. Are you that scared of me? It's not like I can kill you without my sisters here. I chuckle. Do you really think I'm scared of you? You are the one that said you are worried that I would try something if you remove these chains. She points out. She was challenging me, I could tell. I will send someone in a few minutes to carry you for a bath, I inform her. However, if you try anything, it will be your last bath for a long while. I would be cautious if I were you. She doesn't say anything as I quietly shut the door behind me. Why did I agree to her wishes so quickly? Something was wrong. I could tell. The Raven's home. Willow Fawn. Every attempt was being made to help find my sister. We thought we had gotten another lead, but it was just a waste of our time. I was positive at this point that Cassius was messing with us. He must be the one sending us this clue with the hopes of distracting us. Knowing what I knew about this man now, he must also be playing with our emotions as a form of entertainment. Winter. I say as I try to calm my sister, I can assure you that we will find Caroline soon. We will not give up until she's found. Autumn and Clarissa have promised to help us. Winter wipes her tears as she stares at a picture of our sister. You seem to trust them wholeheartedly. Need I remind you that these are Cassius's sisters? They share the same crazy blood that he does. As far as you know, they could be aiding him in keeping us from finding our sister. No, I snap. I know those women better than I know you. They are not like that. They are good people. The Fawns are kind-hearted, every single one of them. You need to learn to trust them if we are to ever move forward. We cannot do this without them, Winter. She sighs. It's hard to trust the women I've been trained my entire life to kill. It will only take a second for them to turn into killers. I'm telling you, Willow, it's in their blood. They cannot stop it. I didn't like the way she spoke about them. They were my family, just like she was. but I knew that it would take some time for her to get to know them. All she knew were things written in a book a long, long time ago. I need to speak with the both of you, our mother says as she barges into the room with a folded paper in her hands. Winter and I turn to look at each other, concerned about whatever she wanted to speak to us about. What is it? Winter asks as we watch her close every window and door she can find, locking each of them as well. Whatever it was she had to tell us, she didn't want anyone to know about it. You're scaring us, I whisper. What is so important that you must keep from everyone else? Don't you trust everyone here? These are all your people. After ensuring we were all alone, she slowly unfolded the paper before us. There is something that I've never told Caroline or you, Winter. I've kept it a secret for a long time, but this secret is too much for me to bear on my own. What secret? Winter demands. I thought that you told us everything we needed to know about Cassius and his sisters. What more is there that we could possibly need to know? Her hands are trembling as she hands the paper over to us. It looked like something that was written years ago. I could tell by the quality of the paper and the handwriting. There were 3 born from rain and 3 born of pain. From these 3 a raven was born, and she only holds the power to tame the cursed sun. She is his, as he is hers. She is his missing part. Without her, everyone will feel his wrath. She cannot be mistaken, for on her back lays a mark that proves she's taken. She is his one and only mate. If she dies, the whole world cries. The paper falls from Winter's hand. I didn't understand. What could this puzzle mean? What are you trying to tell us, Mother? I ask her. What is the meaning of this? Caroline has a birthmark on her lower back. She was born with it. She's a raven. She's my daughter. And, I ask, still confused, even though Winter seemed to be understanding everything quite well. Cassius is the cursed son. He is the only son of Reign, and Caroline is the only raven with a birthmark on her lower back. She is his mate. She is supposed to be the only woman that could stop Cassius from turning into a monster without having to kill him. I gasp. Why would you keep such a thing a secret, Mother? I demand. This is good news. She should have been told this. She can save Cassius with her love, and many will not have to die because of it. No. My mother shouts. You do not know what that monster is capable of doing. He does not know anything about love. He is just like his father. They are incapable of loving anyone. I knew that Caroline would never succeed in taming him. I knew that he would kill her before that ever happened. That is why I placed her under a powerful spell. He will never know that she is his mate. I made sure of it. Caroline. I observe the maids as they walk over to me with a sponge and a bucket of water. This wasn't the bath that I was hoping for. I should have known that there would be no chance of privacy in this awful place. Cassius made it quite clear that he didn't trust me and warned me not to try anything. But this might be my only opportunity to break free. If I could get out of this castle, I knew I could get back to my sisters. Once we were together again, we could find a different approach to eliminate this psychopath. Where is Cassius? I asked them. Either these women were deaf or they pretended not to hear me. Your master? I tried again. Maybe they didn't know him by his name. Once again, they chose to ignore me. Why did I ever think that they would be willing to tell me anything? They must be terrified of that monster and what he could do to them. There was no reason to involve them, but I may have to use force to leave this room. I knew they wouldn't just let me walk out of here freely. All I had to do was wait for them to remove the chains. Once those chains were removed, I could use my power against them. I spot the key in one of the maids' hands easily. They didn't look like they were scared of me, which meant that I could take them by surprise. Did Cassius not warn them of what they were dealing with? But since they've gotten used to a monster like him, someone like me must seem like an angel to them. What are your names? I try again. It would be good for me to at least try to distract them. My name is Caroline. Still nothing. I was beginning to wonder if Cassius put a spell on them to keep them mute. It wouldn't surprise me. That man was so incredibly wicked that he would no doubt do something like that to these women. I also noticed a change of clothes. At least he wasn't going to leave me with this very dirty dress. I couldn't remember the last time I'd gotten a bath. I've been in this cell for such a long time that I've forgotten what it felt like to have water on my skin. It was almost time. I saw the maid move towards me with the key in her hand. I held my breath and prepared myself as she slowly unlocked the keys on the chains. How many locks exactly were there on these things? It took her 5 minutes to completely set me free. It felt amazing. I felt like a huge weight had just been lifted, and that's exactly what happened. Those chains were incredibly heavy. I wait for the others to come close to me with the bucket of water. "We have to undress you, miss, so they can speak." They were just ignoring me. "Do what you must," I respond as I eye the doorway. I was so close to escaping that I could feel it. I try to remain calm as they remove my dress, leaving me in only underwear. It was time. I grab the first maid by her hair and shove her against the wall. "I'm really sorry about that," I shout as I move to the next maid. I breathe a sigh of relief when the wind comes under my command, just like it often did before Cassius locked me in chains. The wind moves toward the other maids, and they all fly onto the hard ground. Yes, they seemed to be harmless. I didn't want to hurt them. Since they were all on the ground, unmoving, I rush towards the exit. However, I make it out the door, only to be grabbed by someone. I gasped as I realized who it was. Cassius. How long was he standing outside the door waiting for me to try and escape? It must have been a game for him all along. He knew I would have tried to escape. I never had a chance to begin with. He was only messing with me. His hand is now behind my neck as he forces me to look at him. I gasp at the anger in the depths of his eyes. He was pissed that I had taken the chance to escape. "I told you not to do something stupid," he growls dangerously low. He was in for a surprise if he thought that would scare me. "What are you going to do about it?" I demanded as I glared at him. I knew he couldn't kill me. His eyes travel down my body, and it's only then that I realize I am no longer wearing a dress. He could see my underwear. Panic finally makes its way into my body as I try to cover myself with my hands. He grabbed me by my arm and pulled me forward. "You are about to find out, Raven." "Caroline." I could tell that Cassius was angry. I'd tried to escape when he asked me not to do anything like that. At the same time, I knew he expected me to do it. Why else would he have been waiting at the door? I thought he would drag me back to the room he had me locked inside for all these weeks. However, I was surprised when he pulled me into a different room. I held my breath when he walked past a bed. I hadn't seen a bed in forever, and I forgot what the comfort of sheets felt like. I'm not sure what sort of punishment he has in mind. Whatever it was, I had to mentally prepare myself for it. "Since I can't trust you around my maids, it's fair to say that you prefer that I do the job for them." He growls as he pushes me into a bathroom. My eyes widened. He wasn't thinking what I thought he was he? That's insane. I gasp. All I wanted was to give a bath to myself. "I don't want the help of your maids, and I definitely don't need any help from you." I watch as he grabs a chair from the bedroom and places it inside the bathroom. What was the need for a chair? I could feel my heartbeat increase when he sat down on it, folded his arm over his massive chest, and leaned back to gaze at me with his prying eyes. My body does this weird shiver in response. I was not happy about it, and I hoped that he didn't notice it. "You cannot be trusted. That is why I am here." He growls, "Either you don't take a bath for a few more weeks, or you shower right now in front of me. It's your choice." I'm being nice. You shouldn't have a choice while staying in my castle. Was this his definition of being nice? He was insane if he thought something that ridiculous. I weighed my options. It didn't seem like not taking a bath right now would benefit me in any way. I smelled and itched everywhere. A bath would help me feel a lot better. And so what if he stood and watched me? I was trained to be prepared for things like this. As long as he didn't touch me, I should be okay. "Fine." I hiss as I turn the shower on. I gasp the second the water touched my skin. It was warm and exactly what I'd needed for a long time. I try to focus on cleaning my body, not on the man openly staring at me while I bathed. For a few seconds, I almost forgot that he was there. However, the second that I spun around to face the wall, I heard his breathing hitch. It was loud and unmistakable. Was he staring at my ass? The underwear I had on didn't block much of my body. He could already see plenty of me. My body stiffened when I heard him get up from the chair. What the hell was he planning on doing? I could hardly breathe when he came under the shower with me. I don't turn around, scared of what I would see if I looked at him. He was already a distraction when he shouldn't be. "What is that on your back?" he asks me softly. I can hear the surprise in his voice. I could even feel his eyes on what could only be the birthmark right above my ass. "What do you mean?" I ask, pretending not to know. "The mark," he growls. "What is that doing there?" "Have you never heard of a birthmark?" I demand. "You know, something someone is born with. I've always had it. It's never moved, and I don't think it ever will, since it's only a birthmark." "I've seen this somewhere already," he whispers. I'm surprised that his voice has softened. I just can't remember where, but I know it means something important. What was happening to him? Why was he so distracted by a birthmark on my lower back? All this time I thought that he was staring at my body. Instead, he was simply looking at my birthmark. My body reacted even weirder because he was staring at it. Something felt strange inside me. It felt like a part of me I didn't even know existed was awakening. "Turn off the shower," he growls suddenly, "and get out." I jump at the sudden change in his tone. How could his mood change that quickly? He seemed pissed when just earlier he was more gentle. He grabs a towel and throws it at me. I caught it and wrapped it around my body. I'm drawn to the wetness of his hair and the water droplets leaking down his body. I don't want to notice small details like this about him, but for some reason I can't seem to help myself. His shirt stuck to his masculine chest, and it was one of the hottest things I've ever seen on any man before. I was able to see more than I wanted to. I hate the way my body reacted. It simply wasn't normal. Nothing about this was normal to me. I was supposed to hate this man's existence. I was supposed to even be slightly afraid of him. My emotions made me wonder what exactly would happen to me the more time I spent with him. What would it take for me to snap out of this enchantment? Was this part of his doing? Did he put a spell on me to trap me? It was something that I knew he was capable of doing. He was very powerful and not to be trusted at all. His eyes are dangerously cold as he says, "If you ever try something this risky and get caught by me again, I can promise you that your punishment will be nothing like this one." Cassius, that birthmark. I couldn't get it out of my head, the image of a beast with flames around it. For some reason, it reminded me of myself. It was a symbol meant for me to recognize, almost like it's been waiting all these years for me to find. It meant something. No average person was born with such a detailed birthmark like that one. I kept thinking that it was familiar. I'm not sure where I'd seen it before, but I knew I had to find it back. I wouldn't be able to rest until I discovered its meaning. I knew it had something to do with me, but wasn't sure what exactly. The urge to touch it in that shower made me angry with myself. I shouldn't be tempted to do anything with that woman. She was here for one reason and one reason only, but my body seemed to have other needs around her. There was one person who may have an idea about that birthmark, but I knew that she most likely wouldn't tell me anything. However, it was worth a try. I strolled down the hallway, through a hidden door, and entered the dungeon. The Raven was lucky I didn't place her in one of these cells. She didn't realize how good she had it. Things could have been 100 times worse. I opened the gates and stopped in front of the second cell. My prisoner has her head facing toward the wall. I know she senses my presence, but she doesn't acknowledge it. I wait for her to speak. It takes a few minutes before she whispers, "Cassius." I don't say anything once more. "Why are you here?" she asks without turning around to face me. "I have a question for you," I inform her. "I think that you may be the only one to give me an answer." Her shoulders are slumped forward, emphasizing the weight of exhaustion. She appears tired, with a wariness that is reflected in her voice. "What is it?" she asks. There is no curiosity at all in her tone. In fact, she doesn't seem interested in this conversation. Spending years in a dark cell like this one does that to you. She deserved it. "What do you know about the birthmark of a beast with flames around him?" I ask her. "It is located on the lower back of a raven." Her posture stiffens even more, telling me she knows exactly what I'm talking about. "Why do you ask?" she asked. This time, I could hear the curiosity and edge of her voice. "Just answer my question," I growl. Have you finally captured one of those women meant to kill you? She asks me. And does this woman have the tattoo of the beast you speak of? I clench my jaw. Are you disappointed that the woman meant to kill me is now in my possession? I know that you would celebrate my death if given the chance. Mother? She finally spun around at my words, and I was not fazed at all when I saw the tears in her eyes. How can you say that, Cassius? I smirk. Didn't you kill my father, the man you were supposed to love and protect? If you could kill him, I think it is safe to say that you would do the same to his children. She gasps. I did everything possible to save you and your sisters from that man. You may think that he loved you, but he only wanted the three of you to have more power. He wanted to use you, son. You weren't there, but I was. You can't remember anything from when you were a baby. I'm here to tell you the truth. I did it all to save you, my son. Please stop thinking that I want to kill you. I will never do something like that to you or your sisters. My jaw clenched. Enough. I roar. I hated to hear her lies. She never loved us. If she did, she never would have killed our father. He wasn't here to speak the truth. I have been robbed of precious time with the greatest sorcerer to walk the earth because of her. I did not come here to discuss any of that, I growl. All I want is your answer to my question. Do you know what the birthmark means? She closes her eyes and turns back around to face the wall. I don't think I'm the one to answer that question for you. In time, you'll know for yourself what that mark means. Until then, do not ask me about it again. I grab the iron bar angrily. Just as I expected, you do nothing at all to help me, Mother. That is why you will never get out of here. I will make sure of it. I angrily storm out of the dungeon. What the hell did she mean by that? How would I eventually find out what that mark meant? Caroline. I was back in those damn chains that were too heavy for me. I should have been thinking of ways to kill the beast, but for some reason, those were not the thoughts in my head. Instead, I couldn't get the image of his soaking wet body out of my head, the water dripping from his hair, his cold silver eyes filled with confusion because of the birthmark on my back. I couldn't get that look out of my head. Why did it captivate him so much? I've never seen him look that distracted over anything ever since he kidnapped me. It bothered him a lot more than it should. Since I was younger, I always wondered what that birthmark meant. However, my mother always told me that it had no significant meaning. She also told me not to let others see it. She claimed that it could be a form of weakness and should always be hidden. I always worried that she was keeping something from me, but I still listened to her and kept it hidden from others. Of course, I didn't have a chance to hide it from Cassius this time. He invaded my personal space, and I had a feeling that it was about to get much worse than that. He seemed like the kind of person that enjoyed messing around with someone's emotions. So far, he was doing just that. My emotions were in a mess because of him. I wanted to get him out of my head. I really did. I didn't want to disappoint my sisters or my mother, and definitely not the entire world. Cassius was surrounded by a darkness that was consuming him every day that went by. It was only a matter of time before it completely controlled him, just like it did to his father. Once the darkness is in control, he won't be able to stop it. His sisters would suffer the same fate. Willow seemed to believe that Autumn and Clarissa were too nice to turn into monsters like Cassius, but I've been taught all my life what happens when the darkness takes over. Once Cassius gets into their head, it will all be over. That's why I have to prevent that from happening. I had to catch a grip on myself. I had to be strong for the people around me. I couldn't be selfish or weak. The world depended on me. I prepare myself when I hear the door open. I knew that it was him by the footsteps alone. He had this aura about him that couldn't be ignored, but that was to be expected from someone filled with so much darkness. Why are you here again? I demand. I was enjoying not having you around. Why must you spoil everything? He doesn't look amused like he was in the past. Instead, he looks annoyed and like he came here for one thing and one thing only. Tell me everything you know about that birthmark, he said, his voice wiped off all emotion. I narrow my eyes. You are back again with my birthmark? I demand. Why does it bother you that much? It's on my body, not yours. If it doesn't bother me, then why does it bother you? That's what I'm trying to figure out. He growls. What do you know about it? You've had it all these years. Surely someone must have mentioned something about it to you. I sigh. If you must know, no one except my mother and sister knew about my birthmark. I often asked about it, but my mother told me that it wasn't important. Not important? He demands. You have one of the strangest birthmarks in the entire universe, and you don't think that it means something? Are you that gullible? He did have a point. I should have asked more questions about it, but I trusted my mother. I still trust her. If she told me that it wasn't something to worry about, then I was not going to worry about it. I trust my mother. I snap. His jaw clenches. Be careful now. I also trusted my mother at one point. She turned out to be the biggest liar I ever met. Don't believe everything anyone tells you, even if it comes from the mouth of the people you trust the most. I roll my eyes. You're the last person I would ever take advice from. You are the person that I trust the least. He leans back against the wall and pins me with his penetrating gaze. Turn around for me. What? Turn around. He growls. Are you blind? I ask angrily. I am in chains. I watch him like a hawk as he walks over to me and leans over my body to get to the chains. With one wave of his hand, the entire thing breaks into pieces. Why would he do that? Now, he whispers. Turn around, let me see it. Caroline. Ignore it. Don't let his nearness confuse you, Caroline. Do not do as he says. This was my chance to fight, to try and escape. I knew I could get seriously hurt attacking him on my own, but I was desperate to get as far away from him as possible. Something was happening to me, something scary. I was beginning to feel things for him, the one person I was not supposed to feel anything for. Even now, my body shivered because of his hot breath on my neck while he waited for me to turn around and show him my birthmark. I would warn you, Raven, you do not want to fight me, he says in a harsh tone. I do not want to hurt you, at least not right now. It's almost like he could read my mind. He knew I was plotting to attack him. Catching someone like him by surprise was the best way to get the upper hand, but since he already knew what I was planning, it didn't make any sense. I slowly turned around so that he could finally get what he was asking for. I was not prepared when his fingers lightly grazed my skin while he slowly slid my pants down so that he could get a view of the birthmark. I held my breath as I felt his gaze burning into my skin. It was like the mark on my body came awake whenever he stared at it. I always thought that the birthmark confirmed that I would be the one to kill him, but then I would wonder why none of my sisters had them. Why was I the only sister with such a mark on my body? I didn't understand any of this. I knew that this man was capable of killing me and my entire family and destroying our world. Yet my body didn't seem to care. I was undoubtedly attracted to him. I was hoping that he couldn't tell what his closeness did to my body. What does it mean? He growls angrily. He was becoming impatient. I could tell that Cassius didn't like not having all the details about something such as this. I knew that he wasn't asking me the question. Instead, he was asking himself. He grabbed my arms suddenly and spun me around to face him. His eyes were heated, and he looked like he blamed me for whatever it was he was experiencing. You must know, he growls. Is this a birthmark or a bloody spell to trap me? I frown. Can you not see? I demand. It's clear as day that it is simply a birthmark, nothing else. He narrows his eyes. I sense a spell on it. He growls. A very powerful one. My eyes widen. Are you mad? I demand. I would know if there was a spell on me, and I can assure you that I didn't let anyone touch that birthmark to add a spell to it. He leaned back and smirked. I didn't like that look on his face. He seemed to know something that I didn't know. I told you not to trust the people closest to you, he says. I pause. What the hell is that supposed to mean? He folds his arms and continues to gaze at me with a knowing look. That spell has a good few years in it. It means that you were most likely a baby or a child when the spell was placed on you. Of course, you wouldn't know about it. My lips parted slightly. There was no way that my mother would have placed a spell on me and not told me anything about it. She has always been honest with me about everything. You are lying, I snap. I've been taught my whole life that you cannot be trusted. He chuckles. While it is true that I cannot be trusted, I can promise you that this is not something I am lying about. In fact, I am not the one that lied to you about your birthmark. The second that I find out what it means, you will be informed. I fold my arms stubbornly. I will not believe you without any proof. He smiles, and it seems as though he's accepted it as a challenge. I watch him closely as he walks over to me once more. "What are you doing?" I demand. "Relax," he whispers. "You don't need to get so scared every time I come near you. I'm giving you the proof that you are asking for." I tried to calm my racing heart as I watched him lift his hands towards me. At the same time, he spins me around so that he can face the birthmark once more. "Keep an eye on me," he orders me. I look over my shoulder, watching him closely. A swirl of darkness rushes out of his hands without warning. I gasp when it moves towards my lower back. However, I was shocked to my core when it bounced back from it, almost like there was a barrier surrounding it. My eyes widen as realization dawns on me. He was telling the truth. There was indeed a spell on me. I couldn't believe it. I had a spell on me all this time and knew nothing about it. Why would my mother lie to me about something like that? Cassius. I didn't think a spell on this woman would make me so pissed. She couldn't tell how angry I was because I refused to show her how it had affected me. The fact that someone felt the need to guard that mark on her body told that it did, in fact, hold significant value. Whatever it was they were trying to hide from me was something that was meant to be important to me. I knew that much since it had a painful effect on me, even while there was a spell on it. This meant that it could be an added weakness. Another weakness? I thought getting rid of the ravens would remove all of my weaknesses, but I just learned that there was another. There was no doubt in my mind that the woman before me knew nothing about this spell. She was shocked, and I could see the hurt in her eyes. She couldn't believe that the people closest to her had lied to her all these years. The real question was why they chose to hide it from her. I understood why they would want to keep me from finding out more about it, but why would they choose to hide it from her as well? I would only get the answer to that question when I found out the truth about it. In order to do that, I would need to do some research. If there are no books to give me an answer, I might have to go after the people who placed that spell on her. With the help of some blood, I could trace the spell back to its owner. If I found the witch responsible, I would squeeze the truth out of her. Spells as strong as this one usually had one major weakness, something that could break it. The witch might be the only one to tell me what I needed to do to cancel the spell. "You said that the spell could have been done since I was a baby?" she asks me as she turns around to face me. I fold my arms over my chest with my tongue in cheek. "Yes, you have been under a spell all your life, and today happened to be the day you found out. It's kind of ironic that your sworn enemy is the one to break the truth to you, isn't it?" She doesn't look amused. Instead, her mind looks like it's racing with thoughts. "How do you plan on finding out what the real meaning behind my birthmark is?" she asks me. I smile at the famous question. I walked over to her until I was close enough to place my hand on her neck. She gasped. It was quite easy to get a reaction from her. She was very responsive to my touch. Every single one. "First, I plan on finding the person who placed that spell on you, to begin with," I growl. "And when I do, I will do whatever it takes to get the truth out from her, even if that means death." Her eyes widen. "You can't possibly plan on killing the witch responsible," she gasps. "What if it's someone that I know, someone that I care about?" I chuckle. "Why would you care about the life of the person who tried to deceive you?" "I do not even know who is responsible," she exclaims. "But surely whoever did it must have had a good reason. I am sure of it." "What makes you think that you could decide who I kill and who I leave alive?" I growl. Usually I would ignore a request such as this, but because it came from her, it angered me that a part of me wanted to grant her wish. It seemed as though I cared what this one thought of me. "I know you don't have a heart, but you can't just go around killing people who haven't done anything to you." I frown. "Hasn't done anything to me?" I ask. "This witch tried to deceive me. There is something that she doesn't want me to know. That is enough reason to kill her." She angrily spun around, showing me her back. "I do not wish to speak to you anymore." I am stunned, speechless. What the does she mean? She doesn't want to speak to me anymore. Why does she think she even has a choice? Her stubbornness irritated the hell out of me. As you wish, I growl as my power seeps out of me and puts the chain back together. Within seconds, she's locked up once more. She doesn't make a single noise as I storm out of the room. Who does she think she is? She's my prisoner. What gave her the right to determine when our conversation ended? The damn girl was testing my patience. The fawn's residence. Autumn fawn. I knew I was supposed to hate Cassius. Everyone saw him as a monster. Everyone who knew about my father and what he did wanted to get rid of my family, at least what was left of it. They wanted to wipe out the Reigns for good. So far, we have been able to keep ourselves safe. Now that I had Clarissa and my husband's family by my side, I was safer than I'd ever been, but still, I couldn't get the fear out of my heart. I was worried about my brother. I saw a side of him that was a reflection of my father and what I'd heard about him. The darkness had already begun to take him over. Clarissa and I were lucky enough that we were nothing like that. Still, I wanted to believe there was a chance to save my brother. He needed to be saved from the darkness, and I wanted to give him that chance. I didn't want to hurt him unless I was left with no choice but to do just that. You are thinking of our brother again, aren't you? Clarissa asks me as she walks into the family room. I nod. I do not want to give up on him. He is still our brother. I believe that there is a part of him that is still good. We just need to find it. My sister nods. I also believe that we can save him. None of you gave up on me when my power took over. I could have burned the entire place down with everyone in it, but none of you gave up on me. I think that it is the same with him. He just needs to realize that there are people around him that cares. I sigh. There is also something else that has been on my mind. Atticus mentioned that there was a time when he vaguely remembered that Cassius had helped him once, and it was so that he could protect me. I believe that our brother has been looking over us all this time. Clarissa's eyes filled with tears. Do you think he really has been looking after us all this time? I smile. I really do. Even if others see him as a monster, I don't think that he is. There is hope. We can save him. We just have to try. Willow walks into the room, and we both become silent. Her sister was still missing, and our brother was to blame. I don't think she would be happy to hear us speaking about trying to save him. Her family was convinced that he had to be killed or our world would suffer. Dante walks in right after with baby Lorcan in his arms. It gave us the distraction that we needed. He gets sweeter each day, I whisper as I walk over to Dante and Willow. My heart melts when he smiles at me like he usually does. I think you're his favorite auntie, Willow says as she smiles. Excuse, what about me? Clarissa asks as she pushes me out of the way to hold him. He gazes at her but doesn't smile like he does whenever he sees me. Dante laughs. Give him some time, Clarissa. She sighs. I don't understand how he smiles with Autumn but not me. We are sisters, after all. Damon walks into the room and moves straight for Clarissa. She smiles brightly when she sees him, and he quickly wraps his arm around her. He silently looks over her shoulders to gaze at baby Lorcan. Is there any news yet? Willow asks Atticus as soon as he walks in. The hope in her eyes dies down when he says no. I don't think we will be able to find him until he is ready, I confess. Winter warned us about this. But we won't give up, Clarissa assures her. Even though the chances of finding Caroline aren't that high right now, we are still going to keep searching until we get to her. Cassius cannot be far. He will stay close to us because he also wants to make sure that we are not harmed. Willow sighs. I hope so. I keep feeling guilty because I know that she sacrificed herself to keep me safe, to keep our family safe. I can only hope that nothing bad has happened to her. I promise you that she will be okay, I tell her. Everything we know so far assures us that Caroline will be safe as long as Clarissa and I are not harmed. Cassius will keep her unharmed so that he can trade for the both of us. It was true, but that trade is never happening. Atticus growls. Actually, I think that might be our only way of getting Caroline back. I disagree with him. If we want to make this work, if we want to keep everyone else safe, we must do as he wishes. Clarissa and I can handle ourselves around him. He cannot harm us, just like we can't harm him. From the looks on everyone's faces, I could tell that this would take a lot of convincing, but I was determined to do this not only for Willow's sister, but for my brother as well. He needed his sisters, and I planned on doing whatever I could to save him from himself. The darkness will not win. I will make sure of it. Cassius! After searching through the hundreds of books I'd saved just for instances like this one, I was annoyed to find absolutely nothing about Caroline's birthmark. In fact, some of the books were missing pages, and I wondered if my mother was responsible for this. I knew that it would be useless to ask her about it. She would only keep the truth from me, just like she kept the truth about my father's death. Whoever ripped the pages off these books didn't want anyone to know what Caroline's birthmark meant. This fact only made me more desperate to find the truth behind it. It was vital for me to find out all the details as long as it involved my life. I knew that whatever that birthmark symbolized was bad news for me. Anytime I looked at it, I got lost, and for some strange reason, the raven became more desirable. I can't count the number of times I almost grabbed her to have my way with her. But I refrained myself. I wouldn't touch her until I learned more about this trap in her lower back. It bothered me to the point that I dreamt of the bloody woman last night. She was now invading my dreams, and I didn't like it. No other woman had ever invaded my dreams before this. That's how I knew that she wasn't any normal woman sent to kill me. She was much worse than all of her sisters, and, in fact, the most dangerous when it came to my life. Then it was a good thing that she's the one I have with me now. I didn't want the weakest of the three. I wanted the strongest. Getting rid of her first would always be the best thing to do. I angrily threw all the books onto the ground and roared in frustration. How dare they all hide this from me? I had another weakness all this time, and I had no clue how to get rid of it. I couldn't remove it from my life without knowing what it could do. The ravens had plotted, and they did a damn good job this time. I stormed out of the library and headed back to the damn girl that was set to ruin my plans. I wouldn't let her or her family win. I knew what I had to do and wouldn't stop until it was done. Her eyes are worried when she sees me, but she still looks pissed about our earlier conversation. I try not to be distracted by her looks. She was beautiful, no doubt, and that was the first thing I had noticed about her. She was indeed the most beautiful of her two sisters. Me. I shouldn't be thinking of that. Her beauty should be the last thing in my mind. There is something that I must do, I inform her. She narrows her eyes. And what is that? I glared at her. I needed her blood. In fact, I also needed my blood. I needed both of our blood for the tracking spell to work. I wanted to hunt down that witch and get the answers I was searching for. She was the only other person who would be able to tell me precisely what the mark was about. Your blood, I answer her. Her eyes widened, and she stepped back, even though that wasn't about to help her. She was still chained. There was nothing she could do to stop me from getting what I wanted. Why do you need my blood? She demands with a fire in her eyes. I wasn't about to answer her. I'm not your friend, I growl. I'm not obliged to answer your questions. You are my prisoner. I will take what I want from you, whenever I wish. Her bottom lip trembles, and it makes me angrier, not because of her, but because of my reaction to her fear. I didn't like that she was scared. I preferred her anger over her fear. I took a few steps towards her. I wanted to get over this as quickly as I possibly could. Do not touch me, she hisses. My mouth was so close to hers that I could smell her breath. It did something to me, made me weaker at the knees. My nostrils flared at the realization. She was even more dangerous than I initially thought. She held the power to distract me in ways I've never been in the past. As you wish, I whisper right before the darkness seeps out of me and does the work for me without me having to lay a finger on her. She gasps and looks down to stare at the blood on her chest. You She shouts, but doesn't get to finish as I cover her mouth with my own. Caroline. At first I was in shock. I could hardly move. The beast was kissing me. His lips were moving against mine, which pained me to admit I liked it. I like his mouth on mine. I like the taste of him. This should be forbidden. A kiss like this should not be allowed. We were enemies, meant to kill each other. Why the hell was he kissing me, and why did I want him to do so much more than just that? I want to push him away, but my hands are still chained. At least, that's the excuse I'm giving to myself so that I don't feel guilty about not stopping the kiss. Bite me, he growls. What? Do it, he whispers as he continues to pull my bottom lip into his mouth. I'm not sure what's happening, but all of a sudden, I want to do what he says. I couldn't stop myself as it bit down hard on his lips until I tasted blood. As soon as it happened, he pulled away from me without any warning whatsoever. I'm left dazed and confused as I watch the angry look on his face. He seems to be pissed with himself. Was it always meant to be this strong? Would I have had a similar reaction if it was another man doing this to me? I couldn't tell if it was just a connection with the beast or my inexperience with these matters. Cassius roars suddenly and pulls away from me. Your blood. It's like a drug of some sort. Did they put a spell on that also? What was he talking about? Are you crazy? I ask him. Have you lost your mind? Why did you kiss me? He chuckles. You act as if that was your first kiss. He stops smiling when I don't respond, and a serious expression comes to his face. It can't be, he says as he studies me. Was that your first ever kiss, Raven? I try to look anywhere but at his eyes, but eventually fail. I couldn't look away from his piercing gaze. If you must know, my mother thought that it would be best if I didn't have any love interests while growing up. She said that we had one purpose and one purpose only, which was getting rid of you. He quirks a brow at me. That's a very boring way to live, don't you think? I narrow my eyes. No, it was not. I had a wonderful time not being heartbroken by other men. I've enjoyed my life until you entered it. And from what your kiss just felt like, it is safe to say that I didn't miss out on anything. He looks amused. That was hardly a kiss. I needed my blood as well as yours to get the tracking spell to work. If I had just cut myself, that would have been a boring way to get everything done, don't you think? What? Was that why he asked me to bite him while he kissed me? It was all to get his blood mixed with mine. That's why he kissed the open wound on my chest the second he got what he wanted. I can't believe you, I whisper. Did you think I kissed you because I wanted to? He asks, even more amused than before. I hope you never find the person responsible for this spell, I shout. He folds his arms over his chest as he gazes at me. I don't think you're being honest with yourself, Raven. The truth is that you also want to know what that birthmark means. You can't hide your true feelings from me. It was true. I did want to know what it meant, but not as badly as he did. Also, I didn't like his methods at all. I knew that he wouldn't just simply ask. He would use force, and I was worried for whoever it was that had done this favor for my mother. It seems as though my birthmark affects you a lot more than it affects me. I snap. You are the one desperate to find the truth, not me. We will see about that, won't we? He teases me as he turns towards the door. Where are you going? I demand. Don't you need to complete the tracking spell? He smiles as he waves at me. I already have everything that I need. In fact, I already know where the witch lives. Caroline, I'd helped him. I didn't need to listen to him when he asked me to bite him, but I did, and now I was left feeling guilty. I knew that if I hadn't done as he'd asked, he would have still gotten his way, but it still angered me that I had helped him. There was nothing I could do to stop him as long as I was in these chains. He most likely was already on his way to find the witch, and since he knew how to access the teleporting spell, he was probably with the witch right now. I sighed and leaned against the wall. Suddenly, the chains felt heavier. The world's weight was resting on my shoulders, and I didn't know what to do anymore. Everything that I had worked so hard for all felt useless right now. I was attracted to the man I was meant to kill, and that alone was something I deserved to be punished for. If my mother or sisters knew how I felt, they would have surely been extremely disappointed and angry with me. Especially my mother. I was having a constant battle within myself. What could I do to ignore feelings as strong as this one? I knew that Cassius probably wouldn't kiss me again, unless he wanted to mess with my emotions. I was hoping that he would keep his distance after he got the answers he was searching for. I prayed that whoever was responsible would not have to die because of me today. I knew they did it to protect me. Why else would my mother have hidden something that huge from me? If anything happened to my family, I knew that I would be to blame. I had many opportunities to harm the beast, but didn't take it because I was either too scared or too busy admiring his lips to do something about him. The more time I spent with him, the more I wanted to be closer to him. The more I saw a side of him that no one else would ever see. He was vulnerable and even normal at certain times, so normal that I was beginning to forget how dangerous he actually was. So far, he hasn't done any real damage to me, and I wonder if he was trying to gain my trust in order to get closer to his sisters. I wasn't sure what his aim was, but I knew that I had to do something about my feelings. If there were a spell to stop me from feeling these things, I would gladly take it. Cassius. I never meant to kiss her. That was why I was so pissed with myself. I'd let my emotions get the better of me. I told her that the only reason I kissed her was so that I could mix her blood with mine and make the experience more exciting. However, it was just a lie to cover my true actions. I was acting like a lovesick and I was beginning to hate myself for it. I should not care about what her taste is like. Yet, I couldn't get the damn thing out of my mind. It was the reason for kissing her at first. Her scent was so good that I was curious about what her taste would have been like. Now that I had gotten it, I was angry that I wanted more. It was addictive. Even her damn blood had a chokehold on me. I'd never tasted anyone like her before, and I knew that this was not the end of it. Once I had something I liked, I always came back for more. And since she was locked in my castle, there was nowhere for her to run and hide. I take a look around the small cottage in front of me. The spell had brought me to this home, and I knew, judging by the high scent of witches, that this was the right home. There wasn't just one witch in this place. There were at least two. Witches loved to live in secluded places like this. They enjoyed staying hidden from the rest of the world and practicing their spells without judgment. They were much weaker than I was, and getting the answers I wanted from them should be quite easy. I pushed the door open, and it flew apart within seconds. Immediately, two women are standing in front of me. That was fast. One was older, and the other was about the same age as I was. Probably the daughter of the old hag responsible for the spell on the raven. "Who are you?" the older witch asks me. Judging by the fear on her face, she could already tell who I was. "You already know who I am," I point out to her. "Let's cut to the chase, shall we?" "Cassius." I had both of the witches tied up in front of me. The younger one looked terrified, but the old hag was glaring at me as though I'd wiped out her entire family when, in truth, I knew I did nothing of the sort. Then what was her problem with me? Why did she hate me so much? Was her head also filled with lies? I was not sure for the reason, but she wasn't allowed to be angrier than I was after the spell she placed to deceive me. "Talk," I growl. "There is nothing that I have to say to you," she hisses. "I will never help you with whatever it is that you want. You're a monster, and you will always be one, just like your father." I frown. "What do you know about my father?" I ask her. Whenever anyone spoke about him, I wondered if it was someone who knew him or another person who heard stories about him and decided to hate him without knowing anything about him. I know everything one needs to know about the monster. She shouts, "Why do you hate him?" I ask curiously. "What has he ever done to you? Or did you join the trend of hating on someone you know absolutely nothing about?" She narrows her eyes at me. "Trend? That evil man is responsible for the death of my entire family. He took everything from me. He was a psychopath, and I'm happy that he is now dead. I wish he had suffered more for what he'd done." My hand tightens into a fist at my side. It took every ounce of strength not to kill her right here. "I would be careful if I were you," I warn her. "You can't kill me." She snaps. "I am the only one who can give you the answer you want. I'm the one that put that spell on that child's birthmark. If you kill me, you will never know what it means for you." She was messing with my patience. "You underestimate me." I sighed as I took a step closer to her. "You are not the only person who knows the birthmark's truth. There are books about it, and where there are books, there are people who've read those books, and I know damn well that you are not the only person who read about it." She smiles. "No one will talk. They know how dangerous you are. No one in this universe will be willing to help you. You are right that no one in their right mind would willingly help me. There are ways to get what I want, I inform her with a smirk. I would like to see you try. She challenges me. I'm right in front of her now, but instead of choosing to hurt her, I have decided to use a different approach. I grab the younger witch by her neck and squeeze tightly. What are you doing? The old hag gasps. You may not care about your own life, but I'm sure that you care about this one's life, I tell her as I continue to squeeze her neck. In a few seconds, I can snap her neck and burn her to the ground until there is nothing left but fire and smoke. Tell me, witch, what will it be? Do I have to kill her to get what I want? Or should I just kill the both of you and get my answers somewhere else? Her eyes were wide, and finally, I could see the fear that I fed on. She was scared of losing the woman in front of me. This was her weakness. I frown when I feel the presence of another witch. Was there another one here? How long was she hiding? I use my other hand to command the darkness, and within seconds it brings the hidden witch in front of me. Well, hello there, I greet her. Was this your plan? To try and surprise me by hiding this one? I ask the older witch. Let them go, she shouts. You know what you need to do, I tell her as I narrow my eyes. I had to listen to you disrespect my dead father. I will not play the Mr. Nice Guy. If you want to save these two women, then tell me what I want to know. You have 5 seconds, witch. If you don't, they are both dead. 1. I begin the countdown. I was serious about it. They would die if she didn't tell me the truth. I was not one to make false promises. Wait, she screams. Please stop. I'll tell you everything you want to know. Please stop hurting them. I slowly let go and walk back over to her as the other 2 witches fall to the ground unconscious. Start talking, I growl. Cassius. Finally, we were getting somewhere. The birthmark was talked about in one particular book. Caroline's mother found it, and the second she saw what it meant, she was frightened of her child's life, and her mother chose to keep this from her all of these years. She was a liar, just like my mother was. What does it mean? I ask her. There were 3 born from rain and 3 born of pain. From these 3 a raven was born, and she only holds the power to tame the cursed sun. She is his, as he is hers. She is his missing part. Without her, everyone will feel his wrath. She cannot be mistaken, for on her back lays a mark that proves she's taken. She is his one and only mate. If she dies, the whole world cries. She recited for me. Did she learn the entire thing by heart? 3 were born from rain. My sisters and I, no doubt. 3 born of pain. Caroline and her sisters, what happened on the day that they were born? I didn't know the exact details, but I knew the ravens had detested my family. On her back lays a mark that proves she's taken. Caroline's birthmark. This means that the book speaks about her and me. She is his one and only mate. Mate? Mate? Why the would someone like me be given a mate? What am I to do with a bloody mate? What a cruel twist of fate. Was this meant to teach me a damn lesson? Is it to test my loyalty to the darkness? Why the is a raven my mate? Out of all the women in the universe, why the hell would it have to be her? However, this would explain much of what has happened to me recently. Are you sure that is what was written in that book? I demand. She nods. That's exactly what I read. Why would Caroline's mother go through all of that just to keep that hidden from me? I demand. If her daughter is my mate, wouldn't that benefit them? It meant that I was right all along. She was a bigger threat than I initially thought. Which mother would ever want her daughter to be the mate of a monster capable of killing millions? She asks me with nothing but hatred in the depths of her eyes. So she chose to hide the truth from her daughter, I whisper. But what exactly does the spell do? What was the point of it? It's a concealing spell, she answers me. It was supposed to stop you from knowing that she is your mate. However, I underestimated you. I didn't think that you would be able to trace the spell back to me. These people were dumb. Did they truly think they could conceal something that big from me? How long did they think they could hide something like that from me? The spell was a powerful one, but yet I still felt a strong connection to the raven. It meant that once the spell was broken, my feelings for her would only intensify. I must say, witch, You and Caroline's mother actually did me a favor by concealing the mate bond from me, I say with a smile. The last thing I want is to have a weakness. I'm happy that I can feel nothing for the raven, even though she is my mate, and I have you to thank for that. Her eyes widen in horror at my words. It finally sunk in that she'd made a terrible mistake. Instead of stopping me, she was aiding me in my plans. You are just as guilty as any other person that has helped me, I taunt her. Your family will be proud of you. You truly are cruel, she spits at me. Am I? I ask her. I don't think you've seen cruel yet. Her eyes widen. Are you going to kill me? I sigh. No, that will be too easy. What do you plan on doing? She demands. I can't have you running around telling everyone that I know the truth now, I inform her. And for that reason, I must wipe your memories, including those of these two girls. No, she cries. Don't. I want to remember the family that I lost because of your father. I want to remember my hatred for all of you, Reigns. You cannot take that away from me. I ignore her cries as the darkness seeps into her ear and takes whatever memories she has away from her before doing the same to the other women. I should have killed her after what she said about my father. However, I was already doing favors for the raven. She didn't want me to kill the witch, so I left her to live. However, I was sure she would have a miserable life if she did not remember a single thing. Now I had to get back to the castle. There was plenty that needed to be done. Caroline. I know the second that Cassius is home. I cannot explain it, but I can feel his presence. Was this something that my sisters possessed as well? Would they also be able to sense his presence without actually seeing him in front of them? I waited and waited for him to come. However, after a few hours, he never shows up to my room. Was he doing this to taunt me? Or did he not get the answers that he was looking for? I was becoming impatient. I wanted to know if he had killed the witch responsible and if she'd told him the truth about my birthmark. I knew I told him that I didn't want to know about it, but I was lying to myself. I needed to know why my mother kept the truth from me. I needed to know what she'd been hiding from me and why. Cassius, I shout. Maybe if I kept saying his name, he would appear in front of me. I knew he would be able to hear me. Cassius! The door opens and he walks inside, looking around the room for any sign of danger. What the hell are you screaming about? He demands. There is nothing in here. Did he truly think I was calling him for help when he posed the most danger in my life? You've been home for hours now, and you didn't come to see me. I hiss. When are you planning on telling me if you found the witch responsible for the spell? He quirks a brow. I thought that you didn't want to know as much as I did. Why are you suddenly asking me? I narrow my eyes. Did you kill her? Did she tell you the truth? Judging by his reaction, I knew he'd met her. I just didn't know what happened after he found her. Yes, he answers me. My eyes widen. Yes to what? To killing her? He folds his arms over his chest and leans back against the wall. Yes, I found her. Finding her wasn't the hard part. Getting her to tell me the truth was slightly challenging, but I found a way to get the truth out of her. I narrow my eyes. What exactly did you do to her? He shrugs his shoulders. Nothing as bad as you are thinking. I just threatened to kill the people closest to her, and she quickly did as I asked. Did you kill her? I demand. I didn't know why that was so important to me. I didn't want to see him as a monster, even though I called him one almost all my life. He sighs. Killing her would have been too easy. He answers me. So I let her live but took away all of her memories. She would live a miserable life, but at least she is alive today. My heart ached at how heartless he was. But was he truly that heartless if he hadn't killed her? What did she say? I ask hesitantly. About what? He asks, pretending that he didn't know what I was speaking about. He was doing it to taunt me, no doubt. What did she say about the birthmark? I demand. I want to know. He smiles. You want to know? All of a sudden, you're interested in your own birthmark. Can you stop it? I demand. Can't you just tell me what she said? He sighs. I don't think you truly want to know, Raven, he tells me. Stop calling me that. I snap. I didn't like it. My name is Caroline. Raven is more fun. He grins. I'll call you what I want to call you since you're my prisoner. Do you plan on telling me what she said, or are you going to keep it to yourself? I demand. Just remember that you are the one who wanted to know the truth, he tells me with a smirk. Whatever it was, it didn't seem any good. But why did he look so happy about it? Was it good news for him, but bad for me? She told me that it just so happens, Raven, that you are none other than my mate. That is what the birthmark means, that you are taken, that you belong to me. I frown, unable to comprehend what he was saying to me. What the hell are you talking about? You are mine, he continues. The birthmark on your body says so. No, he had to be messing around with me. I couldn't be his mate. I never thought I would even have a mate to begin with. You are lying to me, aren't you? I whisper. Unfortunately for you, Raven, I am not, he answers me. I heard it from the witch myself. Your mother knew all along since you were a baby. She asked the witch to conceal it from me. However, I'm not easily fooled. I couldn't believe this. Cassius, Reigns' son, was my mate. Caroline. Why are you not more upset about this? I demand. How can you be my mate? We are supposed to kill each other. How are you my mate? It's a cruel world, Raven, he tells me as he walks over to me. That birthmark is proof of how cruel it truly is. I didn't want to believe it, but all the signs were there. It's why I've been so attracted to him all this time. It wasn't something that I would be able to control while being his mate. Why does it not affect you? I whisper. Why are you happy about it? I flinch when he reaches out to touch my lips with his thumb finger. Because Raven, the spell that they used on your birthmark was to prevent me from ever finding out that you are my mate. It means that your mother did me a favor instead of harming me. She thought it would have had the opposite effect on me, but it truly didn't. I'm happy because I'm immune to this mate bond, as long as you are under that spell. My eyes widen, but what happens if it's broken? He smiles. That can't happen. I never asked the witch what had to be done to break the spell, and since I wiped her memories, no one would know. Maybe your mother might, but from the looks of it, she won't be telling anyone. She didn't want us to be mates and never wanted me to find out. Of course, she didn't want you to find out either. You know, Raven, this could have worked to your advantage. From what I know, the mate bond makes anyone stupid. I'm lucky that I will be spared from it. Your mother made a very big mistake by keeping this from you. He was right. My mother was wrong for hiding this from me. It could have been used to my advantage. This spell was used to stop him from finding out that I was his mate, but it never stopped the feelings in my heart. While he felt nothing at all for me, my feelings were growing with each second that I spent with him. This was unfair. It shouldn't be this way. He should be able to feel something as well. How could my mother have done something like this to me and not have the heart to tell me about it? Did she really think that keeping this from me was best for me? I can see that you aren't too pleased with your mother right now, he says. I told you not to trust anyone. Now look at you, sad and disappointed. If you want, I can bring your mother here and punish her for what she did. My eyes widen. Are you crazy? Don't you dare think about hurting my mother. You have me here. You don't need to punish anyone else. Punish me if you want, but leave my family out of this. He sighs. Even after everything she's done, you are still willing to protect her. How very foolish of you. He whispers as he moves his lips to my ear. Though, if you'd like to be punished in her place, I can arrange for that to happen. I trembled at his nearness, and it didn't go unnoticed by him. Are you afraid of me, or is that a shudder of something else? He asks as he runs his finger down my chest. I'm curious about something. I know that I can't feel anything because of the spell on you, but I wonder. His voice trails off as he bit down lightly on my earlobe, just as his fingers grazed my breast. I tried not to show him a reaction, but it was hard. I wanted to moan and even pull him closer to me. He doesn't stop there. He moves his mouth to my neck, and I gasp when his lips touch my skin. He's gentle, and it's very surprising, considering that I've been taught my entire life that he was a horrible person. I never expected him to be this gentle with me. Stop it, I whisper, even though I don't want him to stop. Why? He asks me. Why do you want me to stop? Give me a reason, and I will let go. I can't think with his mouth on me, especially not when his lips have now moved to my chest. Think, Caroline. You have to stop this. You can't let him control your body. Think. Cassius. I like this. I like touching her. I like her scent, and love the way her body responds to me right now. At first, I thought she was just scared of me when she shivered. Now I realize that she did it because I had that effect on her. I just confirmed what I wanted to confirm. The mate bond was still very strong for her, even though it was weak for me. She could feel everything. I couldn't believe her mother. She thought that it was best to stop me from having feelings for her daughter, but didn't think to prevent her daughter from having those feelings as well. She must have been convinced that Caroline would never have any feelings for me, even with a strong mate bond. She grew up to hate me and thought it would be enough to stop her from having feelings. They were all stupid, all except the woman in front of me. She was smart. If she played her cards right, she could come out of this alive. She may hate me for killing one of her siblings, but at least she would get the chance to live. Her skin was soft, much softer than the skin of any other woman I've touched before. I could feel my pants get tighter. I wanted her, and I could take her right now. No, I still didn't trust myself around her. I had to have some sort of control over her presence. "You can't, what, Caroline?" I whisper as I drag my mouth closer to her breasts. I didn't realize I'd called her by her first name until I saw her gazing down at me in shock. "They can't what, Raven?" I say, trying to confuse her. I didn't want her to think that I'd gotten soft on her. She still needed to fear me, or she would take advantage of my kindness. Those chains bothered me. I wanted to take them off her, but I couldn't as long as I didn't trust her. I couldn't let her escape from me. "I can't touch you," she whispers, "not with these chains." It was a trap. I knew it was. The second I removed those chains, she would try to fight back. However, I was looking forward to a little excitement. If she tried to escape, I would be right here to stop her. "If I let those chains go, I'm not stopping anytime soon," I warn her. She nods. "Just get them off me." With the snap of my fingers, everything drops to the ground. I wait for her to push me away, but she surprises me when she buries her hands in my hair. "What the f***?" This was the last thing that I expected her to do. What kind of woman was I dealing with? She said that I was the first person who ever kissed her, but her actions made me think that it was all a lie. There was no way in hell that this woman had no experience in this department. I growl low and hard. "I know what you are doing, Raven. It isn't going to work." "What are you talking about?" she demands. I angrily placed the chains back on her and stormed out of the room. This was supposed to be torture for her, but instead, it had turned into torture for me. I had to be more careful around her. I expected her to try and attack me as soon as I removed the chains, but she surprised me when she brought me closer to her. Was she using her body against me? Fuck! I wanted to hit something or someone, anything at all to stop the pain I felt in my pants. This was her fault. All her fault. Caroline! I couldn't believe I'd just done that. I had the perfect opportunity to attack Cassius, but couldn't take it. All I wanted to do was be wrapped in his arms and kisses. It was hard to explain, but I felt like I needed him. He made me feel things that should be illegal in our world. I knew now that he was my mate, but it still didn't explain how hard any of this was for me. I kept trying to remind myself that he was wrong for me, that he was the enemy, but the more time I spent with him, the more I felt like I could change him. I had this weird feeling in my heart that I was the only one to stop him from turning himself over to the darkness and losing the sane part of him. I wanted to be the one to save the world by saving him. Did that even make any sense? Was there a chance to save Cassius? What would I have to do to make that happen? The only possible way was to get closer to him. If I could break that curse, then maybe he would start to have feelings for me. If he had feelings for me, then I could get him to be a better person. Willow told me that his sisters were both kind and caring. They were different than him, and they were both Reigns. Instead, they didn't let the darkness take them over, and they protected their loved ones. If they could fight the darkness within, then Cassius should also be able to. All I had to do was give him a reason to want to be good. I had to give him a reason to fight the darkness within. But how could I do that when he was determined to continue where his father left off? All this time, I thought that I had to kill him to save the world. Now that I was getting closer to him, I realized that there were other ways to get him to stop without killing him. If my mother had told me this all along, I could have done so much more. I could have prepared for this. If she hadn't put me under a spell, then he would have had strong feelings for me. That would have made everything a lot easier. Now I had to find ways to break a spell that I knew nothing about. Maybe all I needed to do was get him closer to my birthmark. I knew that it constantly distracted him. I had to use it to my advantage. The door opens suddenly, and I'm expecting to see Cassius, but I'm surprised when it's an older woman who shares a similar resemblance to him. "Are you a raven?" She asks as she approaches me. I frown. "Who are you?" "Are you a raven?" she repeats. Her eyes are wide, and she looks scared. For some reason, I felt like I could trust her. I slowly nod. "My name is Caroline." Her eyes soften. "You are the only hope to save my son." My lips parted slightly. "How do you know that?" I ask her. "It is written that you are his mate and the only woman that can stop him from becoming his father. If anything happens to you, he will lose himself. Your safety is forever important. Without you, the entire world will have to pay." I wasn't sure what she meant by this. How did I have the power to stop him? "Are you sure?" I ask her. "I know that I am his mate, but what makes you so sure I am the only one who can stop him?" She pulls out a piece of paper and hands it to me. There were 3 born from rain and 3 born of pain. From these 3, a raven was born, and she only holds the power to tame the cursed sun. She is his, as he is hers. I couldn't believe what I was reading. "Where did you get this?" I ask her in surprise. "It doesn't matter where I got it," she tells me. "All that matters is that you believe me when I say that you are the only person to save my son." "You're Cassius's mother?" I ask for confirmation. She nods. "But how can that be? He's spoken poorly about you, and yet he leaves you to walk freely around his castle." I ask in disbelief. Surely this wasn't right. He must be playing a trick on me. "He doesn't know that I can escape," she answers me. "He thinks that he has me locked up for good in the dungeon, but I know how to get out. I've learned a few tricks from his father." "Then why don't you try to escape?" I ask her. "Why are you still here?" Tears are in her eyes as she whispers, "I love my son. I do not want to watch him destroy his life. I've been waiting a long time for you, Caroline. Please, do not leave him. Whatever you do, fight against the darkness and give him love. I promise you that he will change for you. Just trust me, please." "Caroline, I can't give you any promises," I tell her, "but I will try my best to save him from himself." She smiles. "I haven't smiled in years, but today I can finally smile because of you." I felt bad for her. Cassius hated his mother, but from what I could see, she only had love in her heart for him. She didn't care that he treated her badly. She still wanted to save him. "My son wasn't always like this," she whispers. "He was once kind and a joy to be around. He did things that made me think he would be nothing like his father. Then one day, everything changed. It was like a switch had been turned on inside him." "What happened?" I ask her, curious about what caused him to become like this. "I can't tell you today," she answers me. "Cassius will be home any moment now, and I need to get back to the dungeon before he finds me here." "Had he left?" "Where is he?" I ask her. "He probably went to spy on his sisters." She answers me. "He likes to make sure that they are safe. I know he thinks he's doing it because he believes he cannot gain power without them, but I know deep down that he actually cares for them. I am his mother. I know he loves his sisters whether he wants to admit it or not." She doesn't say anything else as she rushes for the door. "I will see you another time, Caroline. Thank you so much for giving a mother hope that her son can be saved." I watch her leave, unable to say anything. I didn't promise her that I would save him, but I told her the truth when I told her I would try my best. Cassius. I breathed a sigh of relief when I saw that both my sisters were safe. In fact, they looked happy. I've been checking up on them ever since I learned about their whereabouts. I had memories of Clarissa locked away in my head. I placed them there for my own sanity. I didn't want any weaknesses due to our childhood memories. My mother gave her away before I got to bond with her even more. Luckily, both of my sisters found each other without needing much of my help, and they were happy with their lives. They would be even happier if they would just trust me and join forces. Then no one would be able to stop us. We will be indestructible. I observed as Willow Fawn walked over to them. She was a raven, not as strong or smart as the raven I had locked up in my castle, but still dangerous enough to hurt me. I didn't like that she lived with my sisters. I wanted to find a way to get her out of there. I would not be able to rest peacefully, knowing that she was around them all the time. They trusted those around them too easily. They should be more aware. I tried to warn them, but they didn't listen. Trying to speak to them was out of the option when they were always surrounded by people. They were never alone, and it made it harder for me to communicate because of that. They were looking for Caroline, and I could tell that they were talking about her. They were becoming desperate to find her, and that kind of desperation was precisely what I needed from them. The more desperate they became, the more mistakes they would make. It was almost time to make the trade, my sisters for Caroline. However, a part of me didn't want to let her go. If there were a chance to keep her with me and also get my sisters by my side, I would gladly take it. However, we don't live in a perfect world. I knew that it wouldn't be that easy to get everything I wanted. At one point, I had to let go of the raven, especially since I knew now that she was my mate and had the potential to be my greatest weakness. I would work on keeping that spell on her. I had to make sure that no matter what, that spell was never broken. She was partly the reason that I had left home. I needed some air, some time away from her. Ever since I tasted her, I wanted to go back in for more. I knew that would have happened, but I didn't think it would be so hard to stay away, or that I would be thinking of her non-stop. I couldn't get her out of my head, and I was losing my mind. Caroline could not be a distraction. The last thing I needed was to let a woman distract me from everything I'd worked so hard for. I had to be stronger. I had to resist the temptation. Caroline. I try to remain calm when Cassius walks back into the room. I wasn't sure how to act now that I was determined to save him from the darkness. "Did you go somewhere?" I asked him, trying to start a normal conversation. I wanted to speak to him more and get to know parts of him that he had clearly hidden from the rest of the world. "How did you know that?" he asks me. "I just know." I lie. "Maybe it has something to do with being your mate. I can tell when you're home and when you're not." He doesn't look convinced but ignores it as he approaches me. I was surprised when he removed the chains from my body and leaned back to gaze at me. "I am moving you from this room." I frown. Why would you do that? Was it possible that he heard the conversation between his mother and me? It couldn't be. Then she would be in trouble, and he wouldn't be here with me right now. There had to be another reason as to why he wanted to move me. "Your time in this room is up." He answers me as he grabs me by my arm and pulls me forward. I had no choice but to follow him as he carried me down the hallway. I watch as he unlocks a door and pushes me into another room. I'm surprised when I see a bed. It doesn't look like a room for a prisoner. It's more like the room you'd give to one of your guests. What game was he playing? Why did he bring me here? "I don't understand," I say as I examine the spacious room more. "Why am I here?" "Would you rather return to the chains?" he asks me with cold eyes. "Of course not," I snap. "I find it hard to believe that you brought me to a decent room with good intentions. You must have a reason for doing so." He looks slightly amused. "While you are the first prisoner I've given a bed to, there is no hidden motive behind it." I frowned. "Aren't you worried that I would try to escape now that I'm not in chains?" I'm not sure why I'm fighting him down about this. All I know is that I don't trust him that well, and this seems very strange to me. He chuckles. "You can try and escape, but I can assure you you won't get past that door." Of course, he must have a spell on it to prevent me from breaking free. I didn't understand how Cassius by himself had so much power. I couldn't imagine the destruction that he could do with the help of his sisters. Thankfully, they were not interested in joining forces with him. I had to hope that it stayed that way. There is a knock on the door that surprises me. Was he expecting someone to be here with us? I said I did not want to be disturbed. Cassius growls. "I am sorry to disturb you, sir." The maid apologizes. I can hear the fear in her voice. She was clearly very afraid of him, and I couldn't blame her. "Someone is here to see you. She doesn't wish to wait." Cassius looks annoyed. Send her away. Tell her that I am busy. But sir, there is a long pause before she says, It's Madame Lydia. She insists that you must see her now. I pause. A woman? By the name of Lydia. Why did I feel a pang of jealousy just by hearing her name? Who was she, and why was she so impatient to see him? He stiffened at the mention of her name, and I didn't like his reaction one bit. Tell her I will be there in 5 minutes, he growls. I'm surprised that he was willing to meet her after the maid mentioned her name when he hadn't been interested a minute ago. She seemed like someone important to him. Who is she? I ask him, unable to stop myself. He walks over to the window and stares blankly as he says, A woman I've f***ed a few times. She's powerful, tricky to be around, but a lot of fun in bed. I gasped at his words and felt a sharp pain in my chest. He looks over at me and frowns. Did I say something to offend you? He asks. His genuine interest in this question makes me wonder if he was just plain stupid. How could he not know? I'm his mate, and I have feelings that are unlike his. Of course, someone as heartless as Cassius wouldn't care if his words had hurt me. No, I snap. You can leave me now. He seems annoyed that I had dismissed him, but still, he turns and leaves without another word. I couldn't believe this. Who the hell was Lydia? He said that she was powerful. Could she be another witch? Cassius! The second I walk into the room, Lydia is all over me. I slowly move her away after a few seconds of her kissing my neck. What are you doing here, Lydia? I ask her. I got worried when you didn't attend our scheduled appointment. She whispers as she runs her fingers down my chest. I was too caught up in finding out that the raven was my mate. I've been busy, I tell her. I don't like when you show up unexpectedly like this. We've talked about it before. She pouts. We've always been good friends. I've helped you with some things, and you've also helped me. I want to think that maybe we are more than just friends. Since when was she this needy? Did something happen to you? I ask her. You are a lot more. My voice trails off when she leans in even closer. A lot more beautiful? A lot more desirable? And no, nothing happened to me. I just learned that you were keeping a female prisoner and wondered if you were too busy pleasuring her that you forgot about me and what we have. I stiffen. How did you find out about her? She sighs. You know that I have eyes and ears everywhere. Of course, I must be interested when a good friend of mine has in his possession a woman who is meant to kill him. I swallowed hard. I didn't trust this witch. She was capable of doing sneaky things behind my back. Getting rid of her wasn't that simple either. I still needed her help. Aren't you going to take me to bed? She whispers. We have a lot of catching up to do. Turning her down wasn't a good idea, but I wasn't up to it. There was only one woman that aroused me right now, and she was nowhere in this room. Today isn't a good day for me, I tell her as I guide her towards the door. You can show up here again in a few weeks, and we can reschedule our appointment. This month is not a good time for me. She looks annoyed with my words, but doesn't try to change my mind. She wasn't the kind of witch to beg for something that she wanted. She usually just reached out and got it herself. But with me, she knew I was more powerful than her and wouldn't dare try anything that I didn't want her to do. If that is what you want, she whispers as she leans over and kisses my cheek, I will see you in a few weeks. Don't set me up this time. Cassius, I do not want to have to hurt you. Hurt me? I try not to laugh at that threat. I wasn't scared of the witch, but I knew that she could damn well cause a lot of trouble for me if she really wanted to. I wait for her to leave before exiting the room. I didn't want her to follow me and find Caroline. She couldn't be trusted around her. She knew too much. I walked up the stairs and didn't stop until I reached her room. I pushed the door open, and it looks like she's been waiting for me this entire time. What was that expression on her face? I couldn't read it well. You took your dead time, she says in an angry tone. This anger seemed different from the other times she was pissed at me. I had to deal with Lydia, I explained to her. She narrowed her eyes as she paced around the room. Was I missing something here? She was mad at me, but this time I didn't know what I had done to cause it. Why was I even explaining what took me so long? I didn't have to return to this room. I'm not obligated to explain anything to her. So why the f*** Was I trying to explain myself when I knew I didn't have to? She turns to look at me, and whatever she sees makes her 100 times angrier. I felt like I was gazing at a dragon, ready to blow my entire castle into flames. "What is that on your cheek?" she whispers. I can barely hear her, but I know that there is disbelief in her voice. I frowned. What was she talking about? I walk over to the mirror to my left and examine my face. I was surprised when I saw a lipstick stain, no doubt from when Lydia kissed me goodbye. "It's a lipstick stain, isn't it?" she demands. Why did I suddenly feel guilty? But more than any of that, why did she seem so bothered by it? Was it possible that the raven was jealous? "Caroline," I couldn't control my anger. The second I saw the lipstick mark on Cassius's cheek, everything went haywire inside me. I wasn't supposed to be this jealous over a man my mother taught me my entire life to kill. But still, there was nothing I could do about the emotions inside of me. Cassius was my mate, and I wouldn't be able to stop feeling this way even if I tried. "I've never seen this emotion in you before," he says, his eyes flashing with amusement and something else I couldn't make out. "Why are you so upset over a lipstick mark? It's not like we are in a relationship. You are here as my prisoner, and you intend to kill me. Is this little outburst supposed to distract me?" I fold my arms over my chest and glare at him. "I know that you don't know what it means to feel anything, but in case you've already forgotten, I am still your mate. I have feelings. Of course, the last thing I want to see is a lipstick mark on your cheek." If I hadn't been trying to get closer to him, I would have never admitted this to him. However, my plan was to stop the darkness from taking him over, and this was the best way to start. I had to show him my real emotions. I couldn't let him believe that I didn't care about his actions. He quirks a brow at me. "Your feelings are no concern of mine. My only concern is for your family to bring my sisters to me. There is nothing else that I need to worry about." His words hurt, but I knew I wouldn't get him to be kind to me this easily. It would take some time before Cassius could warm up to me, or at least begin to have some kind of feelings. "I never asked you to worry about my feelings. You are the one who asked me why I was so upset over a lipstick stain. Now you know. Don't ask questions if you don't want me to answer honestly." He looks amused. Everything I say seems to amuse him for some reason. "How are you liking your new room?" he asked me as he looked around. "It's an upgrade from where you were staying before." I was so upset that he had one of his women here that I didn't take the time to look around the room. It definitely was an upgrade from being chained to the ground, but still nothing compared to the comfort I had at home. I still had no clue why he brought me in here. He didn't care about my comfort at all, so then why move me to a better room? What was the real reason for bringing me in here? What did Cassius have planned, and what exactly did this room offer him that the other one couldn't? "Are you really interested to know what I think about this room?" I ask him. "Isn't there another reason that you brought me in here?" His eyes flash with an emotion I couldn't recognize again. "I do think it will be better to examine your birthmark on a bed, don't you think so?" My eyes widen. I knew he was saying it to mess with me, but it was working. He has spent a lot of time staring at my birthmark, but he has kept a reasonable distance from it. It's almost like it frightens him. "You are intimidated by it, aren't you?" I accuse. "You are afraid that it will make you weak, and we both know that being weak is the one thing that you never want to be." His eyes darken a shade, and for some reason my body trembles in response. "Intimidated? By a mark on your body?" he asks me. "Do you think so little of me?" "I've seen how you act around it," I tease him. "Whether you want to admit it or not, it has a hold on you. We are connected by it, and even though I'm under a spell, it still affects you." Within seconds, I'm flown onto the bed by his darkness and bound by chains once more. I wince at the pain. "You know nothing." He growls as I feel him move closer to the bed. I gasped when he gripped my dress and ripped it so that my back was now exposed to him. I was lying face down, so I could not get a good look at his face. I tried to remain calm as I felt him climb above me onto the bed. "Afraid of a mark?" he whispers as he leans down so that his lips are close to my ear. "I'll show you just how unafraid I am." Cassius, she had some nerve telling me that her birthmark made me weak. I had every intention to prove her wrong. However, the second that my hands reached out and touched the mark on her lower back, something strange happened to me. It's almost like a shock to my body, like I'd just been electrocuted. The kind of electrocution that could kill a normal man. Luckily, I wasn't anywhere close to a normal person. Something like this was not enough to kill someone with power like mine. I was strong enough to fight an army of supernatural warriors to the point that I could kill each of them and still have enough power inside of me to keep fighting. Anyone with a brain knew not to provoke someone like me. However, the woman in front of me didn't seem to care about any of that. She seemed to be determined to get under my skin, and she was doing a damn good job at it. I didn't care that she was my mate. I would not be weak for her or anyone else. But then why was I so hesitant to touch her birthmark again? Why couldn't I bring my fingers closer after the first touch? I was Cassius Reign. I shouldn't be worried about a mark on a woman's back that may or may not have the power to control my feelings. "What is taking you so long?" she teases me, even though I can practically taste her fear. She knew what I was capable of doing, but yet she continued to provoke me. I couldn't tell if she was brave or just plain stupid. "You're afraid to touch me again, aren't you?" she continues with her torture. "Your excitement to get me to touch your birthmark makes me think that you know more about it than you're telling me." I point out to her, "Just how much more are you hiding from me?" I was trying to distract her. I didn't want her to know how weak the damn thing made me. She already had her suspicions, but if I continued more to touch the damn thing, I knew that she would be able to confirm it all. Fuck me. Since when was I trying to hide from something this badly? Suck it up, Cassius. Don't let the damn thing turn you into a coward. I make another attempt to pass my hand over the birthmark. The same thing happens, but this time I can keep my hand on it. Would it get easier each time I touched it? I leaned closer to her ass. I wanted to study the damn thing. I wanted to know what was so powerful about the birthmark that it made me weaken my knees every time I even looked in its direction. It does nothing. I lie. "Really?" she asks, and I can hear the amusement in her voice. I could tell she wanted to tease me some more. She could tease me all she wanted, but she would never get me to admit how weak the bloody thing made me feel. Yes, this was not the time for me to get aroused. I usually had much more self-control than this. Everything about this woman made life difficult. I think she knew exactly what she was doing to me. Why else would she act so smug around me despite her being my prisoner? "If you are telling the truth," she whispers suddenly, "then you shouldn't have a problem doing more than just passing your fingers over it a couple times." What the did she mean by that? "What more could I possibly do to prove to you that I don't fear the bloody thing?" I demanded. I shouldn't have raised my voice. It was a sign that she was getting her way. "There's plenty more," she says in a seductive tone. What the hell did she think she was doing? Was she no longer scared that I had her pinned to the damn bed? "Plenty more like what?" I repeat. She moves her ass up and down the bed, making herself more comfortable. "You can use your lips," she answers me, "or your tongue, to get a taste of it. Maybe you can find more answers about it if the taste was stuck in your mouth." Mother damn fucker. Where the hell did she get an idea like that? And why the fuck would she suggest that to someone like me? Caroline. I wasn't sure what I was doing, but I seemed to enjoy provoking Cassius for some strange reason. It excited me in a way that I never thought possible. If someone had told me this was what my life would be like a few months ago, I would have laughed in their faces. Now I could hardly recognize the person I was turning into. I was falling hard for a man that I once planned to kill. A part of me felt like this was meant to happen. Cassius and I have been tied together since birth. I was born for him. It felt strange to even think something like this. "Have you lost your mind?" I hear his low, surprised growl. Yes, I have. I answer in my mind, but I don't dare say it out loud. I couldn't let Cassius know what was happening in my mind. My mission was to turn him into a caring person once more, someone with a heart, someone who didn't want to take over the entire world. It was up to me to save him and, in return, save everyone else. I was happy that I was the one here with him instead of my sisters. Neither of them would know how to get under his skin like I could. I knew the spell on me prevented him from feeling the mate bond as strongly as I did, but that didn't mean he would be completely heartless. Even now, I could tell he wasn't completely unaffected by my words or actions. That meant that there was still some hope. I know you are afraid. I tease him some more. You do not have to prove anything to me anymore. I can already tell that I was right. I gasped when I felt his mouth on the birthmark. It was a soft kiss, but it made me feel paralyzed. It was a strange but phenomenal feeling. I could barely breathe when I felt his tongue against it. I couldn't believe he'd listened to me. I must have much more control over him than I initially thought. I tried to stay calm as he continued to cover my birthmark with his mouth. Fuck, he growls as he pulls his mouth away and pushes away from me. Why did you stop? I gasped. I meant to taunt him with that question, but my voice gave away my disappointment. I think I have proven that I'm not scared over a damn birthmark, he hisses. There is nothing left for me to do. There is plenty more, my dirty mind whispers, but I do not dare utter another word. Though I may already look like it, I didn't want to act desperate. My skin tingled from his touch, and I wondered if it had the same effect on his lips. Were they tingling from touching me as well? Your family is getting closer to finding you, he says suddenly. I freeze. No, I was not ready for that. I needed more time with Cassius. I had to get him to fall for me, to make his heart pure again. I wouldn't be able to do that if my family tried to provoke him. If I tried to explain my plan, no one would understand. They would accuse me of siding with a monster. I knew my mother. I knew that she would disown me if she had the slightest clue what I was up to. I thought you said that you had them going around in circles, I point out. Do you no longer know how to hide me from them? He frowns. One would think that you do not want to be found from your reaction. I knew that he was teasing me, but that was the truth. He'd spoken the truth without even realizing it. I want to spend more time with you. I blurt out. He pauses. Why? I could see the hesitation in his body. He doesn't trust me. I didn't blame him. He knew where I came from. The last thing he would expect from someone like me was honesty. Do I need to have a reason? I ask him gently. He runs his hand over his face. What are your intentions, Raven? My eyes are warm as I gaze at him. My intentions are good. He doesn't look convinced. You are a lot sneakier than I originally thought you were. I am speaking the truth, I add, but I do not expect you to believe me. I held my breath when he moved closer to me with determination in each of his steps. What do you have planned? He growls. I'm surprised by his sudden change in mood. He's angry, and his anger is directed at me. It was never my intention to make him upset. I gasp when he grabs me by the hair. If you think that you can escape me by pretending to be kind, then think again, Raven. You are only leaving my side when I decide to get rid of you. Cassius, how stupid did the woman think that I was? She hated my guts since she learned to walk as a child, and she expects me to believe that she suddenly wants to spend more time with me instead of reuniting with her family. I was pissed. Usually, this kind of thing would amuse me, but I didn't know why I couldn't control my emotions at the time. It was almost as though there was a switch inside of me that turned on whenever she was around. I did things that surprised me, and I hated to admit it, but she made me lose control. Was that spell not working properly? It should be enough to keep me from feeling this way. I should blame the bloody witch for all of this mess. She did a crappy job of hiding the truth. Her power was nothing compared to mine, and now even her spell was not strong enough to stop me from reacting to my mate. I didn't want to classify her as my mate, but I couldn't deny the truth. Keeping her by my side was becoming a bit too dangerous for me. I may have to do the trade a lot sooner than I planned. Since her family was getting closer to finding me, maybe the best thing would be to let her go. My hands are still in her hair, and instead of glaring at me as I expected her to, she's gazing at me with an emotion I've never seen on another woman before. I swallow hard. Fuck. Why were her eyes so enchanting when they looked at me so purely? Does she realize what she's doing to me? I didn't want the girl to know that she made me feel anything other than hatred. Even her lips made me hypnotized. I couldn't stop myself from glimpsing at them. They were made for me, weren't they? As my mate, she belonged solely to me. I should be allowed to do anything I pleased, and right now I wanted to kiss her. Since she felt the need to tease me like I wasn't a beast ready to take everything from her, then it was time I had a little fun as well. Her breathing is soft and sweet as she continues to gaze at me. However, the second that I lean closer, I hear the sharp intake of her breath. She doesn't stop me as I inch even closer to her face until our lips are inches away from each other. Something strange happened the second they touched. My heart did a little flutter, something that had never happened to me before. I ignored it and focused on the pleasure of having this woman's lips against mine. I thought it would feel like kissing any other woman, but I was wrong. I've kissed many women in the past simply for fun, but this time it felt completely different from the rest. Caroline's lips were much softer and tasted 1,000 times sweeter than any other woman I've ever had in my arms. I'm surprised that she doesn't try to push me away. I was positive that this woman didn't like me or want anything to do with me. The fact that she let me kiss her when she had the opportunity to push me away puzzles me. What kind of game was she trying to play with me? It was obvious that she wanted to mess with my head and confuse me. It felt like she was trying hard to gain my trust, and that could only mean one thing. The damn girl was planning to betray me in some way. I wasn't going to just let her tease me and get away with it. I quickly deepened the kiss and grabbed her by the waist. I didn't think twice as I spun her around and pressed her up against the wall.